The medical bay of Station Zarian 7 was quiet. Dr. Vex High moved his forearms carefully as he prepared his tools. His large yellow eyes focused on the examination table in the center of the room. Today would be special. Today he would finally see a real human body. The doctor had been waiting for this moment for 3 years. He was one of the best alien doctors in the galaxy. He had studied over 50 different species, but humans were different. Humans were mysterious. They came from a small blue planet called Earth. Most aliens were afraid of them. Zaraclith, his assistant, walked into the room. Her green skin was darker than usual. She was nervous. "Doctor, the transport ship is here. They have brought the human body." Double quotes. Dr. Vex High nodded. His excitement was hard to hide. "Excellent. Tell them to bring it in right away. How long has it been dead?" "The report says 6 hours, Doctor. They found it floating in space near the Proxima system. The human transport ship exploded. This one was thrown out into space." The door opened. 2 transport workers came in carrying a metal container. They set it down carefully on the examination table. Both workers looked scared. One of them was shaking. "Why are you afraid?" Dr. Vex High asked them. "It is dead. It cannot hurt you." The first worker, a blue-skinned Zinthari, spoke quietly. "Doctor, we have heard stories about humans. Even dead ones make us uncomfortable." "Stories are just stories," Dr. Vex High said. "Science is what matters. You may leave now." The workers left quickly. Dr. Vex High and Zaraclith were alone with the container. The doctor opened it slowly. Inside was the human. It was a male human. Dr. Vex High could tell because he had studied human anatomy from books. The human looked young, maybe 25 or 30 Earth years. It had short brown hair and pale skin. It was wearing a green military uniform with patches and symbols. "It is smaller than I expected," Zaraclith said. She was looking at the human with curiosity and fear. "Yes, but look at the muscle structure," Dr. Vex High replied. He scanned the body with his medical instruments. "Very dense. Much denser than our people. And these bones. They are incredibly thick." The human was cold to touch. Dr. Vex High checked for a pulse. Nothing. He checked for brain activity. Nothing. All signs showed the human was completely dead. "Strange," the doctor said. "The body is in perfect condition. No damage from the explosion. No radiation burns from space. How is this possible?" Zaraclith looked at her scanner. "Doctor, the cellular structure is unlike anything I have seen. These muscle fibers are compressed very tightly, and the bone density is 3 times higher than normal for most species." Double quotes. Dr. Vex High was fascinated. He had read reports about human strength. Other aliens said humans could lift incredible weights. They said humans could run for hours without stopping. They said humans could survive in conditions that would kill most beings in the galaxy. "Look at these hands," he said to his assistant. The human's hands were rough and scarred. "These are the hands of someone who worked hard. See these calluses? Humans use their hands as tools." The doctor continued his examination. The human was wearing a metal chain around its neck. Attached to the chain were 2 small metal pieces. Dr. Vex High picked them up carefully. "What are these?" Zaraclith asked. "Identity markers, I think. This one says Jake Morrison. That must be its name. This other one has numbers and letters. Probably military information. Jake Morrison." The doctor repeated the name in his mind. This dead human had a name. It had been a living being with thoughts and feelings. Now it was just a body for science. Dr. Vex High walked around the examination table. He studied Jake Morrison from every angle. The human's face looked peaceful. Its eyes were closed. Its mouth was slightly open. It looked like it was sleeping, not dead. "The skin color is interesting," the doctor noted. "Not completely pale. There are darker areas from sun exposure. This human spent time outdoors on its home planet. Zara Cliff was reading from her data pad. Doctor, I found Jake Morrison in the military database. He was a Marine, age 28. From a place called Texas on Earth. His transport ship was carrying supplies to a colony world. When it had mechanical problems. Mechanical problems caused the explosion? Dr. Vexhai asked. No, doctor. The ship did not explode. It had engine failure. The crew was evacuated, but this human was listed as missing. They assumed he died when he was thrown into space. Doctor. Vexhai frowned. Space was deadly. No living thing could survive in the vacuum of space for more than a few seconds. The cold would freeze them. The lack of air would kill them. The radiation would destroy their cells. But Jake Morrison's body showed no signs of space damage. His skin was not frozen. His blood had not boiled. His organs seemed perfectly normal. How long was he in space? The doctor asked. According to the rescue team, at least 6 hours, maybe longer. 6 hours in space should have destroyed the body completely. But Jake Morrison looked like he had just laid down for a nap. This was impossible by all known science. Dr. Vexhai prepared his cutting tools. He would start with a small incision to examine the internal organs. Maybe the answers were inside. Beginning examination of human subject Jake Morrison, he said to the recording device. Time, 1400 hours, station time. Subject appears to be in excellent condition despite extended exposure to space vacuum. He moved his scalpel toward Jake Morrison's chest. This was the moment he had been waiting for. Finally, he would learn the secrets of human biology. The scalpel was 1 inch from the human skin when something impossible happened. Jake Morrison opened his mouth wide and let out a long, loud yawn. The sound echoed through the quiet medical bay. Then he stretched his arms above his head and sat up on the examination table. Dr. Vexhai dropped his scalpel. The metal tool clattered. On the floor, his forearms began shaking. His yellow eyes grew very wide. Zara Cliff made a high-pitched noise and stepped backward until she hit the wall. Jake rubbed his eyes with his hands. He looked around the white room with confusion. Everything looked strange and alien. The lights were too bright. The air smelled different. Where was he? Whoa, Jake said slowly. This is not where I went to sleep. He noticed the 2 alien beings staring at him. One was tall and thin with yellow skin. The other was shorter with green skin. Both looked terrified. Jake had seen aliens before during his military service. These 2 did not look dangerous. They looked like doctors or scientists. Jake was not afraid of them. Hey there, Jake said in a friendly voice. I'm guessing you guys found me floating around out there. Thanks for picking me up. Where exactly am I? Dr. Vexhai could not speak. His mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. This was impossible. The human had been dead. No pulse, no brain activity. No signs of life at all. Zara Cliff found her voice first. You were dead, she whispered. We checked. No life. Signs, nothing, Jake laughed. Dead? Nah, I was just in deep sleep mode. Happens when we get thrown into space. Our bodies kind of shut down to save energy. Pretty handy trick, actually. Deep sleep mode? Dr. Vexhai finally managed to say. His voice was shaky. What is deep sleep mode? Oh man, my head is killing me, Jake said, ignoring the question. He touched the back of his head and winced. I must have hit something when the ship's engine blew. How long was I out there? 6 hours, Zara Cliff said quietly. You were in space for 6 hours. 6 hours? Not bad. I've done longer. Jake swung his legs over the side of the examination table. My record is about 14 hours. That was during a training exercise on Europa. Cold as hell out there. Dr. Vexhai stared at Jake in shock. You have survived in space for 14 hours? That is impossible. No living thing can survive in space. Well, I'm here, aren't I? Jake said with a smile. Look, I know it seems weird to you guys, but humans are pretty tough. We had to be. Earth is not exactly a gentle planet. Jake stood up from the table. He was a bit wobbly at first, but quickly found his balance. Dr. Vex High noticed that Jake moved easily despite being in a high-gravity area. Most aliens would struggle to walk in this gravity, but Jake seemed comfortable. So what kind of ship am I on? Jake asked. This looks like a medical facility. Are you doctors? Yes, Dr. Vex High said slowly. I am Dr. Vex High. This is my assistant, Zaraclith. We are xenobiologists. We study different species. Cool. Well, thanks for the rescue. Is there a way I can contact my unit? They're probably worried about me. Zaraclith looked at her data pad. Your unit reported you as missing and presumed dead. The rescue team found you floating near the wreckage of your transport ship. Presumed dead? Jake shook his head. They should know better. We're trained for this stuff. When a human goes into deep sleep mode in space, we can survive for quite a while. The cold slows down our body functions. We don't need much oxygen. It's like hibernation. Dr. Vex High was trying to understand. But hibernation is not possible. In space, the vacuum would kill you instantly, would it though? Jake asked. I mean, here I am. Humans evolved on a pretty harsh world. We had to learn to survive in extreme conditions. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts. Space is just another environment to adapt to. The doctor walked closer to Jake, studying him carefully. May I ask you some questions for scientific purposes? Sure, Doc, fire away. How do you enter this deep sleep mode? Jake thought for a moment. It's not really something we think about. It just happens when we're in danger. Our body temperature drops. Our heart rate slows way down. We stop breathing normally. Our brain goes into a kind of standby mode. Your heart stops beating, not completely, but it gets really slow. Maybe one beat every few minutes. Just enough to keep the blood moving a little bit. Zaraclith was taking notes frantically. And you can control this? Some people can. I learned how during military training. It's useful for long-range reconnaissance missions. You can hide underwater or in caves for hours without being detected. Dr. Vex High felt dizzy. Everything Jake was describing was medically impossible. No known species in the galaxy could survive what humans apparently did routinely. Are all humans capable of this? The doctor asked. Most of us, yeah. Some are better at it than others. My buddy Tony can stay under ice water for 3 hours. Lisa, our pilot, once survived a hull breach for 2 days before rescue arrived. 2 days in space? Yep, she was pretty dehydrated when they found her, but otherwise fine. Humans are hard to kill, Doc. We've been surviving impossible situations for thousands of years. Jake stretched again and looked around the room. Hey, you wouldn't happen to have any coffee, would you? I could really use some caffeine right about now. Dr. Vex High and Zaraclith exchanged glances. They had studied dozens of species, but nothing had prepared them for this. A human who could survive in space, wake up from apparent death, and ask for coffee as if nothing unusual had happened. We do not have coffee, Dr. Vex High said weakly. That's okay. How about food? I'm starving. Space sleep always makes me hungry. The doctor realized he was looking at something that would change everything they knew about biology. Jake Morrison was not just alive. He was perfectly healthy and acting like his experience was completely normal. We have food, Zaraclith said, but it may not be suitable for human consumption. Jake grinned. Don't worry about that. Humans can eat pretty much anything. We're not picky. Dr. Vex High brought Jake to the station's small cafeteria. The room was quiet since most of the crew was working. Jake sat down at a table while Zaraclith went to get food from the kitchen. I should warn you, Dr. Vexhai said nervously. Our food might be dangerous for humans. We have never fed a human before. Jake waved his hand dismissively. Doc, I've eaten military rations for 8 years. I once ate tree bark on a survival mission. I'm pretty sure I can handle alien food. Zara Cliff returned with a tray of different foods. She set it down carefully in front of Jake. These are safe for most species, but some contain compounds that are toxic to certain beings. Jake looked at the tray. There were several bowls with different colored substances. One was bright purple and smelled like sulfur. Another was green and bubbling slightly. A third was orange with small black specks floating in it. Interesting, Jake said. He picked up a spoon and tried the purple substance first. Dr. Vexhai watched in horror as Jake swallowed it. How does it taste? Zara Cliff asked, ready to call for medical help. Not bad. Tastes like chicken with a hint of garlic. Maybe a little spicy. Jake tried the green bubbling food next. This one's pretty good too. Reminds me of soup. Dr. Vexhai checked his scanner. Jake, that purple food contains high levels of zinc sulfide. It should be poisonous to most carbon-based life forms. Really? Huh, well, I feel fine. Jake continued eating. What about this orange stuff? That contains concentrated citric acid and methane compounds. It would burn through most beings' digestive systems. Jake took a big spoonful of the orange food. Tangy, I like it. Tastes like orange juice mixed with hot sauce. The two alien doctors watched in amazement as Jake ate foods that should have killed him. He showed no signs of discomfort or illness. In fact, he seemed to be enjoying the meal. This is impossible, Dr. Vexhai whispered to his assistant. No species can process these compounds safely. Maybe humans have different digestive systems, Zara Cliff suggested. Jake finished eating and leaned back in his chair. Thanks for the meal. That hit the spot. So when can I contact my unit? Before Dr. Vexhai could answer, the station's gravity generator made a loud grinding noise. Red warning lights began flashing throughout the cafeteria. Attention all personnel, came a voice over the intercom. Gravity generator malfunction. Gravity will increase to 3 times normal levels in 30 seconds. All personnel must secure themselves immediately. Dr. Vexhai and Zara Cliff quickly grabbed onto support bars attached to the walls. Their species could not survive in high gravity conditions. 3 times normal gravity would crush their bones. Jake, you must hold on to something, Dr. Vexhai called out. The gravity is about to increase. Jake looked confused. Increase to what? 3 times normal. It will be deadly. The gravity generator hummed loudly, and the gravity began to increase. Dr. Vexhai felt his body becoming incredibly heavy. His 4 arms strained to hold onto the support bar. Zara Cliff was pressed against the wall, barely able to breathe. Jake remained sitting in his chair. He looked down at himself and shrugged. Huh, I do feel a bit heavier. Is this the high gravity you were worried about? Dr. Vexhai could barely speak. The gravity was crushing him. You are not affected? Well, I'm definitely heavier, but it's not that bad. Feels kind of like wearing a heavy backpack. We train in higher gravity. Than this back on Earth, higher gravity? Zara Cliff gasped. Yeah, we have these centrifuge machines that can simulate up to 5 times Earth gravity. It's part of our physical training. This feels like maybe 2.5 times Earth normal. Jake stood up from his chair and walked over to the alien. Doctors, he moved slowly but steadily. To him, the increased gravity was just an inconvenience. To the aliens, it was a death sentence. You guys look like you're in trouble, Jake said. Here, let me help. Jake picked up Dr. Vexhai easily and carried him to a low bench where the doctor could lie down. Then he did the same for Zara Cliff. The aliens were shocked that Jake could move at all, let alone carry them. How are you so strong? Dr. Vexhai asked weakly. I'm not particularly strong for a human, Jake replied. I work out a bit, but I'm pretty average. Earth has higher gravity than most planets. We're used to it. The gravity generator finally shut down, and normal gravity returned. Dr. Vex High and Zaracliffe slowly sat up, their bodies aching from the experience. That was terrifying, Zaracliffe said. We could have died. Really? That wasn't so bad. Jake said, you should try Earth gravity sometime. Plus we have this thing called weather. Rain, snow, hurricanes, tornadoes. Keeps life interesting. Dr. Vex High stared at Jake with new understanding. Your planet has severe weather conditions. Oh. Yeah. Where I'm from in Texas, we get tornadoes that can destroy entire cities. We also get hurricanes, flash floods, heat waves over 110 degrees, and ice storms. Most people just go about their normal business, though. You live in these conditions. Voluntarily? Well, we don't really have a choice. But humans adapt pretty well. We've learned to build shelters, predict weather patterns, and survive in extreme environments. Zaracliffe was taking notes again. What other extreme conditions do humans face? Jake thought for a moment. Let's see. Some humans live in deserts, where it gets to 130 degrees. Others live in places where it's minus 40 degrees for months. Some live at high altitudes where there's barely any oxygen. Barely any oxygen? Dr. Vex High asked. Yeah, mountain climbers go up to places where most people would pass out from lack of air. They train their bodies to use oxygen more efficiently. This is incredible, the doctor said. Your species lives in conditions that would kill most. Galactic civilizations. I guess so, Jake said with a smile. We call it camping. Dr. Vex High realized that everything he thought he knew about biology was wrong. Humans were not just tough. They were practically indestructible. They could survive in space, eat toxic substances, withstand crushing gravity, and live in extreme environments. Jake, the doctor said slowly, I think you need to tell me more about your people. Sure, Doc. What do you want to know? Everything. Dr. Vex High sat in the station commander's office. Commander Vexler was a large, purple-skinned alien with 6 arms and a serious expression. The commander did not like to waste time. You want to return to the wreckage site? Commander Vexler asked. Why? We already recovered the human body. Commander, the human is alive. His name is Jake Morrison. He says there are other crew members still floating in space. The commander laughed. Impossible. No one survives 6 hours in space. The other humans are dead. That is what we thought about Jake Morrison. But he was in something called deep sleep mode. He says humans can survive in space much longer than we believed. Commander Vexler stopped laughing. He had heard the reports about the human waking up in the medical bay. The entire station was talking about it. How long can they survive? Jake Morrison says his personal record is 14 hours. Another human survived 2 days. The commander was quiet for a moment. If there are living humans in space, we must rescue them. It would be a crime to leave them to die. Jake has agreed to guide us to the wreckage site. He knows where his crew members should be. An hour later, the rescue ship left Station Zarian 7. Jake sat in the passenger area with Dr. Vex High and Zaracliffe. He was looking out the window at the stars. I never get tired of this view, Jake said. Space is beautiful when you're not floating around in it unconscious. Are you certain your crew members are still alive? Dr. Vex High asked. Oh yeah. We're only 6 hours out when your people found me. My crew is tough. Lisa, our pilot, can probably stay in deep sleep for a full day. Tony, our engineer, is built like a tank. Amy, our communications officer, is small, but she survived worse than this. The rescue ship reached the wreckage site in 2 hours. Pieces of the human transport ship were scattered across several miles of space. The ship's hull was broken, but not destroyed. There, Jake pointed out the window. I can see someone floating near that big piece of hull. The rescue team used scanners to search the area. They found 6 human bodies floating in space. All appeared to be dead. No life signs, no movement, no heat signatures. They look dead to me, the rescue captain said. Trust me, Jake replied. They're just sleeping. Let's bring them aboard. The rescue team collected all 6 humans and brought them to the ship's medical bay. They laid them out on examination tables. Jake walked from table to table, looking at each crew member. Yep, they're all in deep sleep mode, he said. Their body temperatures are way down. Hearts beating maybe once every few minutes. They're fine. Dr. Vex High scanned each human. I detect no brain activity, no pulse, no respiration. By all medical standards, they are dead. Watch this, Jake said. He walked over to the first table where a woman with short black hair was lying. Hey Lisa, wake up. We're safe now. Jake gently shook the woman's shoulder. Nothing happened. He shook her harder. Come on, Lisa. Time to wake up. Lisa Chun opened her eyes slowly. She blinked several times and looked around the room. Jake? Where are we? On an alien rescue ship. We're safe. Lisa sat up and stretched. How long was I out? About 8 hours. Total. Not bad. I feel pretty good considering. Lisa noticed the alien doctors staring at her in shock. Oh, hello there. Thanks for picking us up. Jake moved to the next table where a large man with dark skin was lying. Tony, wake up, buddy. Tony Rodriguez opened his eyes and smiled. Hey, Jake, please tell me someone brought coffee. Sorry, man, no coffee, but we're alive and safe. Jake continued waking up his crew members. Amy Davis, the communications officer, woke up complaining about being hungry. Ben Parker, the weapons specialist, woke up asking if they were under attack. Sam Wilson, the medic, woke up and immediately started checking everyone for injuries. Danny Clark, the navigator, woke up and asked for their current position. Dr. Vex High watched in amazement as 6 dead humans came back to life. Each one acted like they had just taken a normal nap. None of them seemed concerned about floating in space for 8 hours. This is incredible, Zaraclith whispered. How many times can humans do this? Do what? Amy asked. She was sitting on the edge of her examination table, swinging her legs. Survive in space without life support. Amy shrugged. Depends on the situation. I've done it maybe a dozen times during training and missions. My record is about 18 hours. 18 hours? Dr. Vex High's voice cracked. Yeah, during a covert operation on Europa. I had to hide underwater beneath the ice for almost a 2 full day. The water was below freezing, but I managed. Tony was examining the alien medical equipment. This is pretty advanced stuff. What kind of ship are we on? A medical research station, Jake explained. These doctors were studying my dead body when I woke up. Scared them pretty good. The human crew laughed. Lisa patted Dr. Vex High on the shoulder. Don't feel bad, Doc. Humans confuse everyone. We're kind of weird compared to most species. Weird is an understatement, Sam said. Remember that time on Mars when the life support failed and we had to survive in the thin atmosphere for 3 days? That was fun, Ben said sarcastically. I lost 15 pounds and couldn't taste food for a week. You survived 3 days. In the Martian atmosphere? Zaraclith asked in horror. It wasn't pleasant, Amy said, but humans are stubborn. We don't like to die. Dr. Vex High was furiously taking notes. What other extreme conditions have you survived? Well, Tony said, there was that time our ship crashed in the asteroid belt, and we had to survive on emergency rations for 2 weeks. The rations were expired, Daddy added. Most of them were probably toxic. We got sick for a few days, but we lived, Lisa said. Human stomachs are pretty tough. And remember the radiation storm near Jupiter? Sam asked. Oh yeah, Jake said. We got hit with enough radiation to kill most aliens, but we just felt tired for a week. Dr. Vex High stopped writing. His hand was shaking. You survived lethal radiation? Humans have good natural radiation resistance, Amy explained. Our ancestors lived through several mass extinction events. We evolved to be tough. The alien doctor looked at the 7 humans sitting in his medical bay. They were talking and laughing like nothing unusual had happened. They had just survived 8 hours in the vacuum of space, and they were acting like it was a minor inconvenience. I need to report this to the Galactic Medical Council, Dr. Vex High said quietly. Why? Lisa asked. Because everything we know about biology is wrong. Dr. Vex High worked in his office for 3 days straight. He'd barely slept or ate. His report about the humans had to be perfect. The Galactic Medical Council would not believe it otherwise. He reviewed his notes again. 7 humans had survived. 8 hours in space. They ate toxic food without getting sick. They walked normally in gravity that would crush most species. They had survived radiation, extreme temperatures, and poisonous atmospheres. The humans were still on the station waiting for their rescue ship to arrive. Dr. Vex High had spent every possible moment studying them. Each new discovery was more impossible than the last. Jake Morrison knocked on the office door. Hey Doc, can I come in? Of course, Jake. Please sit down. Jake entered and sat in the chair across from Dr. Vex High's desk. He was carrying a small book in his hands. I wanted to thank you for saving us, Jake said. My crew and I really appreciate what you did. It was nothing. Any civilized being would have done the same. Maybe, but you went out of your way to help. That means a lot. Jake placed the book on the desk. I wanted to give you something as a thank you gift. Dr. Vex High picked up the book. The cover said, Military Survival Manual, 3rd edition. He opened it and began reading the first page. This manual contains techniques for surviving in hostile environments. Dr. Vex High read aloud. Including desert survival, Arctic survival, underwater survival, and ... His voice trailed off as he read further. Keep reading, Jake said with a smile. Space survival, radiation exposure survival, toxic atmosphere survival, and extreme gravity survival. Dr. Vex High looked up at Jake in shock. This is a training manual? Yep, every human soldier gets one. We learn all those techniques in basic training. Dr. Vex High flipped through the pages. Each chapter described survival methods that would be considered torture for most species. Drinking contaminated water, eating insects and plants, surviving without oxygen for extended periods. Jake, this chapter says humans can survive without food for 30 days. Yeah, that's about average. Some people can go longer. The record is something like 70 days. 70 days without food? Well, he had water. You can't survive as long without water. Maybe 10 days max. Dr. Vex High felt dizzy. 10 days without water? In extreme conditions, yeah. Though you feel pretty awful by the end. The doctor continued reading. Each page was more horrifying than the last. Humans could survive injuries that would instantly kill other species. They could adapt to environments that were completely hostile to life. This section talks about surviving in temperatures below freezing, Dr. Vex High said. Oh yeah, cold weather survival is important. Earth gets pretty cold in some places. Humans have lived in places where it's minus 60 degrees for thousands of years. Minus 60 degrees? That would freeze most beings solid. It's not comfortable, but humans are good at making warm clothes and shelters. We're pretty clever when we need to be. Dr. Vex High closed the manual. His hands were shaking. Jake, do all humans know these techniques? Most of us learn some of them growing up. Kids go camping, hiking, swimming. We learn to deal with nature early. Military people get more advanced training, but the basics are pretty common knowledge. What you call basics would be considered supernatural abilities by most species. Jake laughed. Really? We just think of it as being prepared. Earth is a dangerous place. You have to be tough to survive there. The office door chimed. Zaraclith entered with a datapad in her hands. Doctor, I have finished compiling the test. Results, she said. The human blood samples show incredible properties. What did you find? Dr. Vexhai asked. Human blood can neutralize most known toxins. Their immune system can fight off diseases that would kill entire planets. Their bone density is 3 times higher than any other species. Their muscle fibers are compressed to impossible levels. Jake looked interested. Really? That's pretty cool. I never thought about the science behind it. Jake, Dr. Vexhai said, your species is biologically impossible. By all known laws of medicine and biology, humans should not be able to exist. But we do exist, Jake pointed out. So maybe your laws need updating. Dr. Vexhai realized Jake was right. Science was supposed to explain reality, not deny it. If humans could do these things, then the science was wrong. I am sending my report to the Galactic Medical Council today, the doctor said. It will change everything we know about biology. What are you going to tell them? Jake asked. The truth. That humans are the most resilient species in the galaxy. That you can survive conditions that would destroy any other known life form. That your people are essentially indestructible. Jake looked uncomfortable. Doc, I appreciate the compliment, but we're not indestructible. Humans die all the time. We just take a lot of killing. Compared to every other species in the galaxy. You might as well be immortal, the office door chimed again. Lisa Chun entered with the rest of the human crew behind her. Jake, our rescue ship just arrived, Lisa said. Time to go home. The humans gathered their few belongings and prepared to leave. Dr. Vexhai watched them sadly. He would miss studying these amazing beings. Before you go, the doctor said, I have one final question. Are there many humans like you in the galaxy? Like us? Amy asked. You mean human soldiers? I mean humans in general. Tony laughed. Doc, there are billions of humans spread across hundreds of worlds. We're everywhere. And they all have these survival abilities? Pretty much, Ben said. Some are better at it than others, but yeah, most humans are tough. Dr. Vexhai felt weak. There were billions of beings in the galaxy who could survive anything. Beings who could eat poison, live in space, and walk through radiation storms. Doctor, Jake said, you look worried. Is something wrong? I am just wondering how the galaxy will react when they learn the truth about humans. What truth? That your species is not just dangerous because of your weapons or your aggression. You are dangerous because you refuse to die. The humans looked at each other and shrugged. They had never thought of themselves as dangerous. They were just trying to survive in a universe that seemed determined to kill them. We should go, Lisa said. Our transport is waiting. The humans said goodbye to Dr. Vexhai and Zaraclith. They walked to the docking bay like they were leaving a hotel, not a medical research station where they had just redefined what it meant to be a live doctor. Vexhai returned to his office and finished his report. He added a final note. Recommend that all future human corpses be observed for at least 72 hours before being declared dead. Also recommend updating galactic medical databases to include new classification for humans, biologically impossible yet functionally immortal. He sent the report to the Galactic Medical Council and sat back in his chair. Soon, every doctor in the galaxy would know the truth about humans. They were not just another species. They were living proof that life could survive anything. Meanwhile, Jake Morrison and his crew were already planning their next mission. They had no idea that they had just changed how the entire galaxy viewed the nature of life and death. To them, surviving in space was just another day at the office.